section of Library 100, New Student Dialogue, our focus was to learn that we should not judge someone just based on looking at them. Although assumptions may sometimes be accurate, most oftentimes that is not the case. With a partner, we went around the room naming stereotypes of what we thought of a country or the people who lived there. Oftentimes, we found ourselves being greatly mistaken. It was very informative to learn that our impressions of people are not always accurate, and in fact, oftentimes they are just plain wrong. The best way to get to know someone is by talking to him or her. After all, nobody knows them better than they know himself or herself. At the beginning of the session, we started with an icebreaker activity. It started out with one person, one of the leaders actually, saying something about herself. If someone in the group were to have that in common with them, then they would stand up and connect arms, and then the next person would say something interesting about himself or herself. The purpose of this activity was to show that we are all connected in some way, shape, or form, and after the last person stood up, the entire group was connected by linking arms. Another activity we did was with a partner. We were supposed to make assumptions of what their race, ethnicity, socioeconomic class, gender, sexual orientation, national orientation, first language, physical, emotional, developmental ability, and religious or spiritual affiliation was. Although several of these things may seem like they would not be difficult to read about a person, it is actually much more difficult than it seems. I actually only got 2 out of the 10 right about the person I was supposed to judge, which just goes to show me that it is really important to talk to someone and get to know them before guessing what they are really like. I feel like my group did achieve a true dialogue because as a group we were able to vocalize our thoughts and ideas about different topics, which was not always easy to talk about. Since there was no judgment amongst the group, everyone felt comfortable to the extent which we were able to achieve a true dialogue, bouncing thoughts and ideas off of one another and discussing why we thought what we did, and if we had different ideas, we felt comfortable telling why we saw things differently. There were active voices in my dialogue. Since everyone was willing to participate, nobody seemed to have an issue telling the group what they thought or believed. Although reserved voices didn't seem to be much of an issue in my group, facial expressions to a few of the students' comments may have been more of a reserved voice. Being able to tell a person what he or she was thinking by facial expressions was not always the best way to go about it in a setting such as this with less than 15 people. In my group, I played a role of a participant with an active voice. I did my best to contribute where I thought it was beneficial to the majority. Although at the end of the session, I found out that several of my assumptions about people were greatly mistaken, and I should definitely reevaluate how I make assumptions of people from other countries as well as people even here on campus. I think that Clemson University uses dialogue as a component of Library 100 because it is a great way to open students' eyes that people may be more like you than you even realize, and that judging based on appearance is likely to go to false accusations. It is important for students to feel like it is okay for them to step out of their comfort zone, especially in a college environment, because everybody's coming from different places and different backgrounds, and we all find common ground in Clemson. My group was able to experience a true dialogue because of the willingness of everyone to listen attentively and share feedback. This would also be helpful of way of learning in a discussion-based classroom. As long as the students are comfortable with each other, then the dialogue they can achieve will far surpass everything else. I was really thankful that my group did not turn this into a debate, since this can very well be a controversial topic. All the students worked as a team to achieve a common purpose, since very quickly we all realized that we have commonalities as well as several differences within our lives. We all worked towards a common goal to better educate ourselves of people's heritages around the world, as well as to better understand that nobody in our group came from the same background. There were differences among us all which made this discussion flow so well, and we were able to learn about how everyone from different places ended up in Clemson, South Carolina.